Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out of this world story from our space. Every now and again, we meet people who make us look like saints. But even a saint isn't immune to infidelity. Makes you wonder if the good guy always does come last. Let's talk about that today on our space. OP's wife of 13 years cheated on him with a coworker. Caught my wife of 13 years cheating with a coworker. Just here to get straight to the point. My wife and I have been married since we were 25. We are now 38. We met in college, got married, and everything has been great. We both graduated, got good jobs, and started our lives together. Me and my wife both made good money, so money was never an issue for us. My wife worked for her dad's small business while I worked for a very large company. After a few years, my boss left the company out of nowhere, and they needed someone to take over. The only person who knew how to run the department was me. So I got a major pay jump, better bonus, better benefits. The works. So, at 28, I was making probably 3 times plus more than my wife. At 28, the same year, my wife gave birth to our first daughter. Then, 2 years later, our second. My wife, due to working for her father, was able to be more diverse in working. Well, around 5 years ago, my father-in-law passed away unexpectedly. That left my mother-in-law and wife in a hard position. Sell the company or run it themselves. My mother-in-law had no clue how to run it, so my wife said she would do it. After my wife took the company, it did just as well as when her father ran it. With that being said, my wife got a huge pay increase. More than me. I was proud of her. Going from a basic worker to running a whole company isn't easy. Anyway, our daughters started suffering from not seeing their parents. Me and my wife discussed one of us staying home. She said, "The company you work for will be fine without you. Mine could go under." I agreed, so I quit my job and became a stay-at-home dad and husband. I do everything. I make sure the girls are all taken care of. I cook, clean, fix things, make sure errands are run. You name it. I pamper my wife when she gets home from working. This went well for a while until about a year ago. My wife was always very appreciative of what I did and loved it. She's become very mean lately. Like just saying things like, "Do you do anything?" Or, "How about you work for real?" What? I work my butt off every day, making sure you don't have to lift a finger when you get home at all. Also, I had a real job, but I quit to raise and take care of the girls, our home, and you. Not to mention my wife is very sexual. Always has been. She quit initiating sex, and when I ask, she is never in the mood. That was very odd. Eventually, I quit trying. I just thought, with all the pandemic crap and everything else, she was just very stressed and it was getting to her. I started trying harder to make her happy. Nothing ever worked. Last weekend, my oldest had a softball game. So, I get everything ready and we go. During the game, I wanted to take a video for my mom and dad since they live in another state and don't get to see my daughters that often. I forgot my phone, so I asked my wife if I could see hers. She had been attached to it all day, so it would be good for her to get off of it. Anyway, she hands it to me and says she's going to get a drink and a snack. She gets up. I video my daughter when a message comes up on some app. I check and I can't even fathom what I see. My wife and this guy from her work, who is 8 years younger, are sexting and sending video and pics, talking about how great the sex was, and then me. He is saying how I am some wimp who can't get a real job taking care of his women, and my wife agrees with him. I couldn't believe the crap I saw. I was so devastated and angry all at the same time. I heard my wife coming back, so I closed the app and started videoing. On the ride home and when we get home, my wife tries to talk to me and I'm not in the mood. Eventually, we lay in bed and, for the first time, I guess they hadn't met in a while, tried to have sex. I tell her I'm not in the mood. She says, "If you're going to be a witch about everything, you can sleep on the couch." I got up and went to the couch, and now have been there since. I don't know how to move forward with this. I really just don't know where to start. My wife was my everything. My girls are my world, and all of that is dying. Any advice would be wonderful, as I really effing need it. Edit. Should have mentioned, I did send screenshots of the conversation to my phones. I do have the evidence. Tell her immediately. Bring it up then and there. Tell her exactly what you found and how you feel. You're more of a man than this guy ever will be. You've sacrificed things to take care of your own family. Drop her and let her be with someone who won't ever understand what it takes to be a good dad. Update 1. Hey everyone, I want to thank you all for the advice you all gave. First off, I do have the text, pics, videos of everything. Second, I don't have any of the company. It is 50-50 between her and her mother-in-law. Third, I can't sleep in the bed. I have been sleeping in the guest bedroom every night, and that is where I will be staying. To answer, I have decided to divorce her. Anyway, this morning I called a firm in another town to avoid anyone finding out. Thankfully, they were able to get me in this morning, and someone had canceled. After dropping off my girls, I drove over there. To make a long story short, he is a very good lawyer. I showed him what I had. He said that luckily for me, with the evidence I have, she will be pretty much screwed in the divorce. Seeing as I quit my job to raise our girls, she is never home, she is having an affair, prioritizes this man over me and my girls, she will lose very easily. He basically said we will get child support, alimony, I will keep the house, and she will have to pay for it as long as my girls live there. Also, he stated that we could even try for more money since I am considered no longer viable in the working world, to help me pay for more education to get a job. Some of you are right. He said not to work until after the divorce is over. He said since you are the husband, if you have a job, you can lose a lot of this. He asked if I wanted full custody. I said that I don't mind my wife seeing her girls on the weekends every once in a while, but I would want mostly full custody. He said since she had an affair in the marital home, I can basically do what I want. Since he stated bringing over a strange man over to the house puts the girls in danger and makes her guilty. So, I will be going for full custody where she can get weekends once, maybe twice a month. No man will be allowed around my girls, and if there are, she could face problems by me if I find out. I just don't want that piece of crap around my girls. He eventually said to keep quiet until after the draft is ready, and then he will issue someone to serve her and have it issued that she is required to leave the home. He said he should have it done sometime next week. He asked me just to keep quiet. He said I know it is hard and you are upset, but just shut the hell up until everything is done. Once the divorce is over, you can say whatever the hell you want about her, but until then, keep your mouth shut. He said act as normal. He said no fights, no issues, sleep in separate beds, and no sex. I said no problem, but why? He said trust me, just don't do it and do as I say. I just got home and have started getting ready for dinner and acting and being normal. I will be acting as if everything is okay until she is served next week, as I can only make 2 updates. Yes, I actually read the rules on here. Any more will be on my page if anyone cares. Thank you for all the advice and some very harsh words. And to the one guy who asked for my wife's nudes, just no. It seems all you have to do is ask her, and she will send them, so it isn't that hard, it appears. Quick edit. He recommended I get an STD test, plus a DNA test on my girls. When I asked why, he said, it is pretty rare incidents like this are the first time they have happened. So yeah, that effing hurt to hear, but scared the hell out of me. I guess that's why we hire lawyers. They talk us off the ledge and have our best interest in mind. I wouldn't be able to stay so level-headed. I'd rampage. I'm sorry, OP. You truly are the best of us. Update 2. Hey everyone. I just wanted to thank you all who sent me good messages over this period. I have been feeling down and things have been rough. To preface, I have talked to my lawyer about these posts. I didn't go into too much detail. They did tell me, though, as long as I keep them brief and not super specific, that I can post. But I just have to be careful about what I put on to not lead too many details. That is it. So, for a quick update, like I said, we'll be brief and not too specific for legal reasons. We will start with a test. I was able to get an STD test on myself and a paternity test on my girls. I came out that I thankfully have no disease and I am clear. Since I have been pretty much sexless from her for the last year, I wasn't all that surprised. Now for the one that I am sure most of you are wondering, the test on my 2 girls. Am I the dad? I will always be their dad regardless of the results. However, I'm here to say that yes, I am their biological father. I have never been so happy to know that I am their dad. Never thought that I would have to question it, but here we are. As for what has happened with soon-to-be ex, well, she is out of the house and I have been granted full temporary custody. In the future, maybe a while, I will go into more specific details. However, for now, she is out of the house. My lawyer set everything up for me to get my girls and make sure that we legally handled her being removed from the home. It wasn't pretty, but details for another time. She was served at work, and from what I know, it wasn't pretty. Like I said though, details for another time. My girls know what is going on. My oldest knows we are separating, and one of her friend's parents split for the same reason. She has seen what happened with her friend and doesn't want us to split. She has been crying for me to let mommy come home. I will be letting them in with the child therapist to explain and help them understand from direction of my lawyer. My youngest just wants mommy to come home and misses her. It kills me. It makes me feel like a terrible father, and they probably hate me now. Sometimes I think I should just let her mother cheat on me to keep the family unit to make my girls happy. I just can't do that. Sometimes I think about talking about allowing an open relationship, and we can just wait till the girls are older. But that won't work for me. Plus, I know the girls will pick up on it and will not like it that mommy and daddy don't love each other. As for my ex, she is living with her mother at this point. My mother-in-law had called me and asked to meet. I agreed, and we will be meeting at some point. She didn't ask for details, as she said we will talk later, but begged me not to take her granddaughters away from her. I said, you are a great and loving grandmother, and as long as you can separate my girls from what is going on between your daughter and I see no issue with you being able to see them, and I will not take them out of your life. She thanked me, and that is it. My ex has been trying to call me and text me trying to figure us out. Under direction of my lawyer, he has had it set up so that I can talk to her through a trackable method, and it is purely about the girls. No more, no less. So, that is it for now. We'll probably keep updating, and once this is all over with, I will make one big update for all the details I have to be careful about as of now. Thank you. A bit too late to figure us out, sweetheart. Should have thought about that before she banged someone else and made you feel less than. Update 3. Hey everyone. I thought I would give everyone a small update on some stuff that has happened. So first off, I had Thanksgiving with my soon-to-be ex and mother-in-law. I did this purely for the girls and made sure with my lawyer this was only about the girls and not about reconciliation. That was taken care of. First, I have met with my mother-in-law pre-Thanksgiving. We met and had a pretty mutual discussion, mainly just things about how we will handle my daughters after. My mother-in-law did tell me some stuff about my soon-to-be ex. I guess my soon-to-be ex was cheated on by her high school boyfriend. Didn't even know she dated anyone. I guess this guy came from one of those families, according to my mother-in-law, and they told her to avoid him. Well, I guess one night she caught him with his head under another girl's dress and tongue deep in a girl's jewelry box. Why my mother-in-law couldn't believe she would do this. She had a couple of boyfriends they met in college, but she knew they wouldn't last. She said that as soon as she met me, she found her son-in-law. Says she is so sorry for her daughter's actions and will make sure that she doesn't try to do anything problematic with the divorce. Anyway, a couple of days before Thanksgiving, my mother-in-law asked for me to come over for dinner with the girls. I said, will she be there? She said yes. I said I can't with her there. She said she understands, but asked if we could put on the holiday one more time for the girls. She said, I know you have a lawyer. Ask them, and if they said it is a bad idea, I get it. I did, and they said tell your wife via the app this is purely for the girls to avoid any confusion. So I did. She had contacted me before about coming over. She has been begging me to see me and the girls. The girls have been begging to see their mom. I swallowed my pride for my girls, and we went. It was awkward. My soon-to-be ex gave our daughters a hug, fine, then tried to hug and kiss me. I just avoided her and went to give my mother-in-law a hug. My soon-to-be ex tried to act like husband and wife and was trying to talk to me. I answered with yes and no's and helped my mother-in-law finish dinner and cleaned up. My mother-in-law is religious and wanted to do a prayer, and my soon-to-be ex-wife sat next to me. I held my daughter's hand, my wife tried to grab mine, and I pulled away. I know it may seem petty, but I don't want her touching me. I am an atheist, but out of respect for my mother-in-law, I go along with it. Dinner was fine. Again, soon-to-be ex trying to act like we are going to be married and asking about Christmas and vacations I guess she wants to take with us as a family. When she mentioned this stuff, I knew it going over was a mistake. We finished dinner, and I pretty much got up, cleaned my daughter's and I's dishes, then was ready to go. My daughters wanted to watch a movie with their mother we always watch. I let them, and my soon-to-be ex tried to cuddle next to me on the couch. I sat in the chair after that. My mother-in-law was very mad at my soon-to-be ex the whole night for how she acted. I could tell by the looks she gave her. Movie ended and we started to leave. My daughters fell asleep, so I carried them to the car. Went in to grab something, and my soon-to-be ex grabbed me in tears, begging to work on things, and that she wants to be a family, and is so sorry for what happened. Before I could say anything, my mother-in-law grabbed her by the hair, not joking, yanked her, told me good night, and began yelling at her daughter. So yeah, told my lawyer everything and said nothing indicated reconciliation, and you made that clear in your messages. You are fine. Wife once again calling and begging now to work on us. She gets left unread. I will only talk about the girls, and I am sure they are going to want to do the same for Christmas. I don't know if I can or if it is okay. Once again, I will discuss with my lawyer. It's not petty at all. How could you want to be touched by someone so ugly and putrid like her? She totally betrayed you. She's absolutely delusional to think that she would think any different. She's totally lost her mind. Good on you for sticking to your guns. This woman is garbage. Update 4. This will not be long, but things have gotten very bad for my girls. Basically, my girls had 2 sessions this week with their therapist. The first one was good. My girls came out what seemed to be more at peace and calmer than usual. I talked to the therapist after, and she seemed to be very good and understood my girls well. So, I took them to their second one, and crap is completely effed. Basically, the therapist explained, in age-appropriate terms, that the reason me and their mother is separating, that their mother cheated, had an affair, and betrayed me. I knew eventually she would, but I didn't think it would happen this soon. I went to get my girls, and basically it was a burst of tears and then climbing all over me and giving me hugs, crying, saying they love me. I'm happy they love me, but this is not what I wanted to happen with my girls. I asked the therapist why did she tell them. She said the girls knew you two were separating, and the girls noticed you seem to be really mean and unloving with their mother. Your girls aren't stupid, she told me. They know how you are, and they know how you treat their mom. They wanted to know why you are separating. I tried to walk around it as best I could, she said, but the girls are not going to progress in therapy if we don't tell them. I am not going to go into detail on what exactly she said to them, but it was age-appropriate. But they know the age-appropriate version of their mother being unfaithful. I think my oldest could maybe handle this and be okay, but not my youngest. So we get home and my girls won't let go of me. They were literally crying the whole night. So I order in food, I put on their favorite movies in my bedroom, and we laid there all night. They fell asleep and I went to the bathroom and just cried. My soon-to-be ex doesn't even realize the pain she is causing our girls. I don't know how I am going to deal with this. The therapist told me we could try medication for a bit till they get used to the new normal. I refused to do so, which she supported and said it was just an option, as I am not drugging them. Disclaimer, she cannot give the drugs. She said they would need to see their primary, and they would probably diagnose my girls with something that would allow them to medicate them. I would rather deal with my daughter's emotions the healthy way. I won't have to worry about Christmas as my daughters hate their mother now. How do I know? My oldest said she never wants to see her mom again. My youngest follows what her older sister says, even though she may actually agree. I was shocked. I said, "You don't hate her. You may be mad, but you don't hate her. She loves and cares about you." My oldest just said, "No, she doesn't," and then just cried into my arms until she fell asleep, and so did my youngest. So this is my life now. I mean, it's best they know the truth and come to their own conclusions. You don't want to be like their mother and hide the truth from them. It's a hard truth, but it's the truth nonetheless. Update 5. Hey everyone, sorry for the name. I am sure it sounds like a really bad sequel, but I wanted to be clear about what this update was about. Just to clear up real fast though. The girls are doing better. They're still going to the same therapist, but they are doing better. Kind of coming to the realization. My daughters say they don't hate their mother anymore. However, they have made it very clear that they don't want to see her for a long time. Their words, not mine. We will see how it goes. My wife has been made aware of them knowing. She tried calling my girls. They answered, but my wife has since been a bit more respectful of mine and my girls' boundaries. I think the realization is starting to hit her. Anyway, to the affair partner. Already knew he was a piece of crap. But this man is awful. So someone asked if there was an other betrayed spouse. I didn't know. I started looking through some stuff for my wife's work. I was able to find a piece of paper with all employees' numbers and emergency contacts. I called his. It was his wife's. Turns out he is married. I didn't think he was. Also, he has a toddler. Well, I told his wife and she didn't believe me and hung up. A little later, she calls me back and asks to meet. I meet her. I show her everything. She asks if we can go to my car. We do. Within a second of closing a door, she burst into tears, crying, saying how could he do this to me? What did I do wrong, etc. Well, I said you did nothing wrong and gave her my lawyer's number. After that, she asked how long. I said I think a year, maybe a tad longer. She then goes from upset to effing pissed. I asked her why. She proceeded to rip her hair off. It was a wig. Tell me she just beat cancer. I guess after their child was born, they found some stuff odd while she was in the hospital. They found a tumor. So over the last year and a half, she had 2 surgeries, has gone through chemo, and was on medication. She looked very good, so I was surprised. She said she beat it and she's better, but they haven't had sex in like 2 years. She said between my pregnancy and cancer I couldn't. She got really sick while pregnant. Then her cancer just killed her almost. Once she started feeling a bit better, she felt horrible in herself. She started gaining weight from the meds, lost her hair, and wasn't as pretty as she used to be. She said, I was now at the point where she could have sex, and was going to surprise him here soon for being a caring, loving husband. That is off the table. She started crying about her child growing up in a broken home, and I consoled her. She then tried to have sex with me. I said, no, you are not in the right state of mind, and this is not healthy. She thanked me for my honesty, then proceeded to ask for the evidence. I gave it to her, and she went home. We have texted a couple of times since we are both betrayed spouses, so we will keep in contact. So thank you for the few people who mentioned looking for the other betrayed spouse. I didn't even think about it. This guy is an absolute monster. Your ex and him are totally meant to be together. Misery loves company. Update 6. Hey everyone. So I'm already being asked about, did I have Christmas with the other betrayed spouse? The answer is, yes I did. It was very nice. Honestly, it was wonderful. The whole day was really amazing, all things considered. I laid out a lot of the girls' presents from Santa. This will probably be the last year my oldest believes in Santa, so I need to make it count. Anyway, I lay out the presents early. Still dark, no sun. And the girls wake up probably within 15 minutes saying that Santa had come. I dragged my tired butt out of bed and the girls opened their presents. They were very happy. After I popped on a movie and the girls snuggled up next to me and they fell asleep instantly. I eventually got up and made some coffee. My youngest woke up and said, I am hungry, Daddy. So I put an apron on her and let her help me make breakfast. My oldest then woke up and we ate. They played with their presents and had a blast. It made me very happy. I need them to get ready later in the evening so they could go see their mother and grandmother. I'm usually more strict on them about being ready, but with everything happening, I will admit, I have been more lenient. They get ready and they say they really don't want to go see their mom. I told them that their mom loves them. My therapist has said I need to encourage their relationship for proper growth. Plus, if I don't, she said my wife could use it against me in court as isolation. She said the girls can make the decision to have a relationship with their mother when they are older. Also, my wife knows of the therapist and they have talked. She basically told my wife that you betrayed your husband and it is clear that your husband is your girl's favorite. They are going to need to see a lot from you for them to eventually trust and love you again. Then I said, don't punish Grandma for your mother's actions. Go for Grandma. They agreed. I took them and it was pretty easy going. I got there and called. My mother-in-law. She came out and grabbed the girls' things. They were going to stay the night for Christmas. My mother-in-law asked if they could. I asked my lawyer and said it was fine. However, don't leave them there for days or do it often. But that night was fine. I did tell the girls that they wanted to come home at any time, that all they had to do was call me and I would come get them. As I was leaving, my soon-to-be ex walked out. I don't know what they said, but my soon-to-be ex said something to my mother-in-law and was getting a confused face, and my mother-in-law gave her a stern-faced, I think, no. My soon-to-be ex looked at me with tears in her eyes and waved. I just drove off. I had left food in the oven and everything on warm for the other betrayed spouse to show up. She eventually did, and when she arrived, she didn't have her toddler. I asked where they were at. She said that I guess her in-laws wanted to see them for Christmas, and so did its father. Basically, she ran the same deal as me through our lawyer. I was like, okay. She was in a very pretty dress, leggings, fluffy boots, and nice wig. We ate dinner and just talked about our past and got to know each other. After dinner, we went to the couch and I turned on a movie. We talked about other stuff. Eventually, I got a bottle of wine. I don't drink often, but I usually like a certain wine on Christmas. She asked if she could have some. I said, are you okay too? She said yes, so I gave her some. Our conversation basically went from our past to our interests, to our current issues, crying, and eventually joking and laughing. As we drank more, we joked more. 2 bottles later, that never happens, our conversation turned sexual. Basically kinks, what we want, miss, and other stuff. We both found out that we are similar in this aspect. Pretty much everything we are. She said that your wife was lucky and effed up. I said so did your husband. I know some of you said I should affirm her last try at me by saying that she is pretty, but I just thought it was a bad thing to do when it came to sex. I did, and she said she knows. I said you can actually take the wig off if you don't want to wear it. I said you look amazing without it. You are very beautiful with a pixie cut. She did and cried out a thank you. We kept talking about that stuff, and eventually we started watching a movie cuddling. We eventually lead to us in my bedroom where we had more passionate lovemaking. Lots of kissing and very slow sex. When we finished, we cuddled and cried and eventually fell asleep. Next morning we ate breakfast and got showered. I asked, "Did you plan on this?" She laughed and said no. A girl always has an extra pair of clothes. She then asked me, as she was leaving, "Did you feel anything last night?" I was honest and said yes. However, we need to make sure that we are worried about us and our kids, and these feelings aren't false. She agreed and said we will explore them later. She actually gave me a kiss on the cheek and thanked me for a great night. Said, "I will text you later." I went and picked up my girls and they actually had a good time. They said Mom was on her best behavior for the most part. So yeah, right now I just finished prepping dinner and will be spending the evening with my girls. Thank you, everyone. These Reddit posts are like my therapy. I think having that moment with other betrayed spouse is really good for you, OP. I think you needed that. Maybe the both of you needed that. To share that intimacy with someone. I'm sorry this has all happened to you and your girls, but I think this is heading in a really healthy and beautiful direction. All the best to you, OP. What do you make of all this? Would you have started dating a fair partner's wife? Do you think it's crossing a line? Let us know below. Thank you for joining us today on Our Space. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. We'd hate for you to miss out. If you want to listen to more stories from me, check out our lounge where I feature a larger variety of non-cheating related stories. See you there.